Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. I want to thank you for being with us. Bombshell tonight, live to Tallahassee suburbs. Daddy and a 13-year-old little girl, both drunk with high-grade marijuana in Daddy's Nissan Frontier. Daddy, for some inexplicable reason, decides the 13-year-old should drive the car. Gets her in the driver's seat. That must have been a lot of booze and a lot of pot. And, of course, a recipe for tragedy. The girl mows down Daddy's 6-year-old baby girl playing in the yard. The 6-year-old child is dead. Of course, tonight, marijuana enthusiasts across the country, supporters of legalizing pot, insist that pot is not to blame. Okay, let me get this straight, Rita Cosby. The daddy's drunk. The 13-year-old little girl that he decides she should drive. Why? Because he's been drinking? She's reeking of alcohol, too. The truck's full of high-grade marijuana. They find pot all in his truck. And she runs down the 6-year-old child, but everybody says it's not the fault of pot. Are you kidding me?
It's unbelievable. And there was a big bag of pot found in the vehicle, Nancy. First of all, he goes in the vehicle, has this 13-year-old who's a friend of his daughter's. She's supposed to go forward. She backs up, then goes forward. They don't even realize that they run over his 6-year-old daughter till they get out of the vehicle. And when cops came, you hit it right on the head. They smelled booze, his breath, the 13-year-old's breath, his 12-year-old daughter's breath, and there is marijuana clearly visible.
Okay, Rita, I've got a new fact. I didn't know this. Where's Rita Cosby? Rita, are you telling me they ran over the girl and they didn't even feel it? Yes. Nobody felt anything? They just ultimately got out of the car and noticed a 6-year-old child's dead under the truck?
Absolutely. That's exactly what happened. They didn't realize it. Remember, it's a big pickup truck, big wheels. Didn't know anything till they got out.
No, Rita, I didn't really know how big the wheels were that ran over the 6-year-old girl. Monster wheels are not my problem right now. Let's go to Norm Kent, president of the National Organization for Reform of Marijuana, and Brad Lamb, addiction specialist, joining us, founder of Breathe Life Healing Centers. All right, Norm Kent, you insist pot had nothing to do with this.
Well, I think, first of all, Nancy, you, Brad, and I would probably join together in communicating to the children at Jefferson Elementary that sometimes bad things happen to good people. And this was a terrible act, a reckless act, that the father should be held culpable for.
You made that sound like it's some sort of an accident. Bad things happen to good people, like, you know, a tornado or a tsunami wave. No. When a crime is engineered, when you feed a 13-year-old little girl booze and have pot, what are they having, a big pot party? And then they mow down a 6-year-old child?
The indication is that the father was consuming alcohol and probably gave that alcohol to the child. NORML has never been, and is not now, recommending that individuals drive a vehicle impaired. What we're talking about is an end to prohibition so that legalization, education, and regulation will put an end to tragedies like this, because people will be so much more alert about the potential harm and risk
you lost me.
to
You
using
lost me,
anything
Norm. What are you
recklessly.
saying is going to put an end to driving when you're high on pot? Okay, so you want everybody to have recreational marijuana, and you don't think they're going to drive. Is that what you're saying?
I think you are delusional if you think people aren't already driving.
No, I'm asking you what you're saying.
With alcohol or drugs in their system.
No, I'm not asking
what we want is to
I'm asking
share
you what
with
you're
children.
saying, Norm.
I am saying that what we need is an informed electorate, and they will act responsibly. We have reduced alcohol and tobacco consumption in America the past 40 years by treating it as harm reduction.
I've got another question for you, and then I'm going to bring in Brad Lamb, the founder of Breathe Life Center. Norm, you again advocate everyone should be able to have recreational pot, marijuana, high-grade marijuana in their home. What about the children in the home? What do you want to do with them?
I want the families and the parents and the older brothers and sisters to share with those children the importance of not reaching for a loaded gun in the cabinet, a whiskey bottle on a shelf, or marijuana that's not meant for them.
Okay.
And
So
when it's
put
openly
marijuana in
discussed
front
by
of them,
families,
but say,
intelligently and
"Don't have
responsibly,
any."
we can
Okay.
deal with it
All
better.
right.
What
Let's
I'm
hear
saying,
from
Nancy,
Brad
is that if
Lamb.
we openly, but if we openly deal with it,
Norm
Nancy,
meant to
then
say
Brad will be
was,
able to
as
treat
a
it better.
lobbyist for the drug industry, he'd like you to stop talking about this. Because the hard conversations that every parent needs to have with their kid about drugs and alcohol and even sex, those hard conversations that we often don't want to have about the things that can get out of control and cause us real harm, are really hard to have. So call Norm what he is. He's a lobbyist for the drug industry, and that's what he's doing today. He's selling his product, which is legalization of drugs. And the truth is, lots of people suffer from and die under the weight of pot addiction.